Obviously, some of this very hard to listen to. And Lisa, I want to get your reaction here. What kind of closure does it bring for these survivors to speak out? Or if at all, does it really bring any justice?
Well, one of the things that I really like that Sarah Ransom said was she will be using the trauma of what happened to her to help other women. And I think that's how you kind of get the full circle closure when you're in a position to really understand what women are going through who have been in situations like she has. A way to give back, to pay it forward, and use that experience in a way that can be productive for her going forward. She would not have been able to do that were it not for this conviction. She was living 17 years in an abyss where she couldn't organize her life in any way because she was obviously still grieving about it. So now I think that proactive step of her going forward and helping other women is finally going to give her a sense of solace.
We know that Ghislaine Maxwell has always been very manipulative. Was her statement to these survivors genuine, in your opinion?
I don't think so. And I think her attorneys probably advised her to not admit to anything or have any culpability, to continue on their path of saying that she was also victimized by Jeffrey Epstein because she wants to appeal. So, same thing with R. Kelly, never ever have accountability for it. Same thing with Bill Cosby. The list goes on. Their attorneys, their defense attorneys are saying, let's just not talk about that. The sorry is about I'm sorry I was involved with Jeffrey Epstein, basically, and I became a victim, and thus that's why I was put into that position. Almost like he was a Svengali and she was under his power. But clearly, I don't think anybody believes that that was the case. So the survivors are not going to get that solace anytime soon for an authentic apology from Ghislaine.
Well, another survivor spoke with our Law and Crimes Michael Bryant. She gave an impact statement yesterday as well. Let's now hear from Liz Stein.
We'll see if her actions match in the coming years.
And that is another powerful set of words from one of these survivors. Lisa, neither of these survivors thought that Maxwell's apology at sentencing was believable at all, in part because she did not even look at them directly. Do you think she felt obligated to make this statement?
I do. I do, so that she shows some type of humanity to the public, the people that are in the courtroom, to go ahead and at least say something. But again, it wasn't the thing that they wanted to hear. And they wanted to hear, they wanted to feel remorse. They wanted to see her crying, probably. And what the link that tied both of these two accusers and survivors is that they finally felt good because they saw her in cuffs. This became real. The chains, the handcuffs. Now they could see that Ghislaine is finally going to be punished for her acts. Ghislaine was the conduit that brought these women to the monster Epstein. So without her, short of Ghislaine, they would not have had that experience together. So I think that that's the thing that links the two of them in this case, and probably the other accusers and survivors who came forward. Finally, we have our justice. We see her in handcuffs. We know that she's not going to be out for 20 years.
I will also add that it seemed like this was the first time she actually said she was remorseful. She really didn't show any type of sorrow at all prior to this. So Maxwell also claimed, though, that her greatest regret was meeting Jeffrey Epstein. And that's easy for her to say after now she's got caught and she's received, her prison sentence. Do you think we've heard the end of this case, Lisa?
I really don't think we've heard the end of this at all. Because the opportunity for her to get out a little bit sooner, she can do things. She can still work with the feds. She can work with them in the sense of we talked about black books being out, photography, videos that Jeffrey Epstein had. Search warrants only yielded so much, and she allegedly was the person who stored these items. So I don't think she wants to stay in prison for 20 years. If anything, 15 years she's looking at, but a woman of that caliber and that lifestyle will never survive in that prison environment. So I think that's the final piece in all of this, because prosecutors are still going to go forward and try to find out how big this entire sex trafficking organization went. And she's the only one right now who holds the key, aside from the survivors coming forward.
Very interesting point there, Lisa. All right, we have to take a quick break here on Law and Crime, but stay tuned as we continue to keep an eye out on the Rebecca Root trial for closing arguments. That is coming up hopefully momentarily. We'll switch gears also out to St. Louis County, Missouri to recap the trial of DeJuan Ferguson. A lot to get to. We'll be right back.